You're listening to The Burning Truth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. I'm the host, Matt Burns, for The Burning Truth, and I'm the only one for this week due to busy schedules. And you may have noticed, once again, this is pre-recorded, and this is due to time constraints. This is not due to John Ballor, unfortunately. It is due to myself, due to being at another wrestling show, be it for Future Championship Wrestling. And I will state, apologies for the past few weeks because of certain wrestling events. Basically, because of certain wrestling events that have been coming up, I've had to attend certain ones for them, and unfortunately we've not been able to make plans or schedules for yourselves. So I do promise that we will make it up to you, potentially on future episodes. However, this is going to be a quicker than usual episode, just to point out. Going to be covering some quick details in regards to it. I will state that a warning disclaimer is advised due to strong language may be unsuitable for younger listeners, and some listeners may find offensive. If they do, we do apologise. This is the reason why we're giving the heads up, just in case. Disclosure advised. And as my colleague usually states, this show may contain strobe lighting effects. But anyway, we joke. Of course, it doesn't. Strobe lighting effect on the internet, through airwaves. Be quite a unique field that would be. But anyway, point being is I've got a lot to cover in such a short amount of time, because the first thing I'm just going to be discussing, I'm just going to mention potentially the two major topics and the minor one, which is, I'll just get out the way straight away, which is for UKWA. UKWA, upcoming show, which is the Finest Hour, which will be the 7th of February, which is in All Sage at the All Sage Civic. All 6 matches have been announced. However, there could be more surprises for said event. However, nothing has been revealed as of yet. You'll have to wait and see, or you'll have to get a ticket to find out what is going on, or what is going to happen going forward. But all I will state is there's plenty that's going to be basically happening at the show. Plenty of interesting matches. However, instead of me going through the matches this week, what I'm advising us to do is next week's going to be more or less of the UKWA Finest Hour, where we basically talk about each of the matches, where we can put our intake on them, and you can generally see where my thoughts are in regards to why these matches have occurred. But that is for next week. This week, I'm going to be discussing one point that's recently came up, recently, which is in regards to Tessa Blanchard, and the other one being Royal Rumble predictions. I am going to be firing these out fast and quick. I do apologise for that. Now, in regards to NXT, I believe Worlds Collide, which was NXT versus NXT UK, I cannot comment on that as of yet, as I've not seen it myself. I will hopefully get that seen and checked upon, so we will be able to give you our thoughts on that event for potentially next time we're on the air. So we could be saving that for next week as well. Yes, I know, the shows are getting longer. But anyway, let me just address the Tessa Blanchard situation, which is the fact that there has been rumours and speculation that there's been some locker room bullying and racism being thrown around. Now, nothing has been so far yet confirmed, as in 100%. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is especially because with us doing the TBT Awards and Tessa Blanchard being mentioned for some of the details that we provided. Well, some of the, nominations, some of the picks that we basically mentioned as such. But it's just very, very weird how this is all came out and about. It's almost oddly because personally my views are, I feel as though this information, if this is true, it's been ongoing for so long, why wasn't it mentioned sooner? The second she becomes the first female to become a world champion, it suddenly slips out. It's just, Tessa herself has mentioned that, she's upset about being basically branded in this way as such, and is, she's upset and hurt. But, she is, she's not angry at anybody. She's wanting to fight against racism as such. But it's just really, really weird. I can honestly say it's massively weird. If it came out it was true, I will state any previous mentions, like the TBT Awards where we mentioned her as female wrestler of the year as such and everything like that. As much as yes, her wrestling ability is amazing, unfortunately it would mean we'd have to win. Her wrestling ability, no credit. There's no issue there. It'd be more or less of what, the backlash as such. There'd be more of a backlash if it comes out that it was verified and 100% true. But until then, we are not stating if we believe it or not. I believe, for myself, I believe in the fact that unless, innocent until proven guilty, as such. So at the moment in time, unless there's actually 100% definitive proof, as much as I can say, a lot of people can say, well, all of the die-hard fans are going to follow. Now, I'm not exactly a 100% die-hard fan from the beginning. The fact that she's actually turned my view around is massively impressive, because when she first came around, I wasn't a fan of her. The fact that she has built herself up in such an amazing way that she's made a believer. For me, she made me into a believer that, she can go on to do so much more. And I can honestly say, fingers crossed, everything in regards to the allegations aren't true, and that she can continue on with her amazing career. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be getting on to the Royal Rumble predictions. Now, as I stated, I will be throwing these out fairly quickly and as such. Now, we'll probably discuss the reasons why we made our picks potentially next week during the fallout of the Royal Rumble. But all I'm just going to be stating is I'm going to be going through these fairly quick. I do apologise. Like I said, this is going to be a shorter episode than most. It's due to time constraints and we are very limited. And normally I wouldn't do this sort of thing because I feel as though if we're just going to rush through it, we won't be just throwing out information too much, but we don't want, at the same time, we also don't want to be missing multiple weeks. As much as, yes, last week we had the tribute for Rocky Johnson, as such, where with the episode being sort of cancelled, but also used as a tribute for Rocky Johnson, we didn't want to miss another week. So this is the reason why we're basically doing this right now, as such. So as of right now, we've got on. I'm just going to hit it pretty much straight in. Let's get to the predictions, which is singles match for the WWE United States Championship, which is Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo, which both myself and JB, believe that Andre is going to come out with the WWE United States Championship. He's just recently won the championship. We can't see him losing it anytime soon. And the fact that I believe that Andrade seems to be very hot right now, and Humberto was hot when Vince McMahon was, keeping an eye on him, but it's almost like the fact that Humberto seems to have had the Vince McMahon treatment, unfortunately, which is the fact that 1 minute he's, I'm liking you, I like you, I want to push you, and then next week, yeah, I don't like you anymore, and dropped. Now, the question is, he could come back into it, but the thing is, the kid is young, he's got natural wrestling ability. I still think this will be an entertaining match, but both of us believe that Andrade will come out with the victory. Now, next up is going to be the singles match for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, which is going to be Bayley versus Lacey Evans. Both of us have gone for Bayley because I'm pretty sure that JB doesn't like Lacey Evans whatsoever. Myself, I feel as though Bayley hasn't had much time to, not a long enough reign as of yet. Yes, Lacey has been slowly getting better and becoming bit more believable with the whole mother-daughter, involving her daughter. But other than that, I feel as though, other than having her daughter involved, what other stuff is she doing that is for me? It just doesn't fit right for some unknown reason with Lacey Evans as a face myself, personally. And then personally, I will see, and both JB as well, probably agree that Bayley will come out the victor. Now, next up is Chad Gable versus Sheamus. No, I am not saying that name. I refuse to. I'm going to have to say it, aren't I? Because a lot of people may not know who we're properly referring to, because they may not know him as Chad Gable, may have not seen his past. Shorty G versus Sheamus. Now, Shorty G is Chad Gable, just to point that out, and from now on, during this episode, I'm going to refer him to as Chad Gable and nothing more. Right, moving on. JB has gone for Chad Gable, and I can see why he's possibly gone for it. The big underdog fighting, the big, tall, mean Sheamus. Why he's gone for him. I've gone for Sheamus because he's just come back. He needs to get some big, serious wins. And I feel as though him losing to Chad Gable will actually damage his return, especially with the promos he's been cutting. For me, Sheamus is taking the win in this one. Next match is a Falls Count Anywhere match, which is the big dog Roman Reigns versus King Corbin, or as JB would call him, King Boring. Right, for this match, my colleague has gone for Roman Reigns to finally put an end to the whole shenanigans with King Corbin, with the whole "he's a dog, let's treat him like a dog" stupid angle, throwing dog meat onto him. Just really, which will bring an end to it. That's what I think. That's what JB thinks. Myself, I think it's not going to end anytime soon. I think Vince McMahon's massive on the idea and is more likely going to give King Corbin the victory somehow. And that will lead on to the reason why I state that will explain itself later on. But I do think King Corbin will gain the victory over Roman Reigns, and the feud is still going to continue, unfortunately. But that's my prediction. Moving on next to the singles match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship, which is Becky Lynch versus Asuka. Now, both of us have actually gone for Becky Lynch. Me personally, I feel as though Becky Lynch will get the victory over Asuka, especially for the fact that she lost to Asuka in, I believe, the previous year's Royal Rumble. which is interesting because it's it's a rematch 1 year later. So I feel as though they need to give Becky Lynch the win for this, because it's going to set up a much, much bigger match down the road, which I will. You'll see why I'm stating that a bit later on. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens in regards to this, and I wouldn't mind, and this might be a good idea, if they have Becky Lynch get the win this year, and if they, when it comes round to the Royal Rumble once again, they do a third match between Becky Lynch and Asuka, the rubber match, the big one, and hopefully go on, the third and final match of that feud, of the Royal Rumble feud, almost. But yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, let's move on, shall we? Now I'm going to mention about the WWE Championship, WWE Universal Championship, which will be The Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan in a strap match for the WWE Universal Championship. Both of us have gone for The Fiend simply because it is going to be The Fiend. As much as Daniel Bryan has been, yes, getting on a hot streak, The Fiend needs to have a bit more of a run. Me personally, I think he's going to be the champion till WrestleMania, and it's going to be very, very interesting on where it comes about. And I think this is going to be an absolute amazing match. Out of the actual contest of this match, I feel that the match of the night is going to be this one myself. Although I think Andrade and Humberto Carrillo will be a close second match of the night. And that's what, the non-Rumble matches, because the Rumble matches are always epic and absolutely stand out by miles. But anyway, both of us think the Fiend Bray Wyatt will get the victory as such. Now, when I'm going to mention JB's picks for the women's and men's Rumbles, he has stated to me that the reason why he made his picks is because he hasn't got an actual clue on who's going to win on either of them, which is, to him, makes him very, very happy, the fact that he can't actually guess who he is going to win. Now, for JB, I'm just going to mention both of them, which is the women's one. He's picked Alexa Bliss, and for the men's, he's picked, I believe, Kevin Owens. Both of them absolutely great picks. For the one for the women's and one for the men's. Absolutely interesting, and be happy if they did actually come about. For myself, I'm going to go in a different direction. For the women's, I am going to go for a returning Ronda Rousey, which will set up the infamous Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, which will be an absolute epic match, because I think it will, I think Becky will still be champion going into WrestleMania, which will be phenomenal, because she will have been officially been champion for 365 days. Let that sink in. And if she wins, she'll be 366. She will have been champion for an entire year, which I think will be, well, not exactly, but roughly enough to a year. The same event when she won it. But the point being is, it's interesting to see how it comes to be. Now, we'll have to wait and see in regards to what happens in regards to the Women's Rumble match, but I personally think Ronda Rousey. My colleague thinks Alexa Bliss. Now, for the men's, as we've already stated, my colleague's gone for Kevin Owens. Me, on the other hand, as much as I may not like it, I think Roman Reigns, because they are going to set up Roman Reigns versus The Fiend, which is where it's going to lead to Roman Reigns dethroning The Fiend at WrestleMania and giving The Fiend his first loss at WrestleMania. And I know what you're thinking, but didn't you just say earlier he lost to King Corbin? Yes, I did. Because what's that going to instantly do? He wins the Royal Rumble. King Corbin's going to hold it over his head. He's got a victory. And let's just say, I should be in your spot. We're going to have a match for your final spot. If I win, I take over. It's just going to be stupid. Because the WWE do that a lot of the time. Especially with some of the Rumble winners, you know. You didn't really win. I beat you in a match. You said. It'll just be stupid. And to be honest with you, myself personally, I think it's going to be Brock Lesnar and bloody Roman Reigns at the end. And yes, I know, Brock Lesnar, number one, don't even going to get me damn well started on that. The fact that, oh, I'm Brock Lesnar, I don't need to defend my champion because I'm Brock Lesnar. I'm just going... Better yet, why don't you do the smart thing, Vince, or WWE, and for the Royal Rumble match, why the hell don't you make it for the WWE Championship? No, you won't. Because you don't want to hit Brock Lesnar. You don't want to upset Brock Lesnar. The man who's not defending his championship belt. For crying out loud. He already crashed the WWE Universal Championship. Now you want to do it with the WWE Championship. Well done. We're still on that case. But anyway, that's going to be it for... That's basically my predictions. That's JB's predictions. And basically, that's all we've got for this week's episode. Next week's episode is most likely going to be us discussing about UKWA's finest hour in regards to all its 6 matches. We're going to be possibly talking about the fallout of the Royal Rumble and potentially over the most recent NXT event, which is, I believe, was I'll just double check for you. I believe it was Worlds Collide, which will be massively interesting. But we'll have to wait and see what comes about in regards to this. But for me, I am massively looking forward to this. It should be absolutely amazing, and I look forward to it. I'm always looking forward to the Royal Rumble. I'm always looking forward to hearing from yourselves. I do apologise for this being a shorter episode and feeling very, very rushed. I know it's not something you may appreciate, but I thought I'd at least get a episode out. But for the time being, I'm going to recommend, and I'm just going to move on now and call it a wrap up for this week's episodes in regards to news. I'm just going to throw out some plugs now, which is please check out UKWA, also known as UK Wrestling Alliance. If you need any photography business, I recommend you check out Tony Knox, Jessica Silva Photography, and K Swift Photography. Absolutely amazing. I know how good they are. They're absolutely top of the range, 100% quality. Highly recommend them. And they also for great prices. Of course, I also recommend everyone to check out Manchester Pro Wrestling Academy. Beginners classes are on Monday, £10 per class, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. If you're after looking for details, check out on their social media. Of course, I also recommend you check out JFX3D. They do absolute amazing custom-made championship belts. And I can honestly say the work is superb. Honestly, highly recommend them. I recommend you check out, charities like, Mind, Changes for Health and Wellbeing, Messy for Mind, Donna Louise, and of course the Cancer Research UK. All for great causes. Absolutely, check out their pages as such. I also recommend another charity. Well, another case I'm just going to mention right now, which is to do with a friend of mine by the name of Alexandra Wareham. She is, going to be doing a leap, doing a bit of a skydive, to help raise charity for Alzheimer's Society. If you are interested in providing any assistance on that, go onto our social media. We do actually have a post where it does mention the link. We recommend you check out that page, even if it's just £1. You donate. You are whatever you give is generous, and that goes for all the charities that we mentioned. £1 does go a long way, and the information that they provide on there could prove massively vital, as it could end up helping anybody that, it'll either help yourself or someone that you might know. You never know. I, of course, also recommend you check out the lighter side of wrestling, especially be Botchamania, WrestleCraft, OSW Review. You're welcome, Matthew. You're welcome, RD Reynolds, and of course the guys at OSW Review. You're more than welcome. Always will give shout outs to you. Of course, I recommend, I'm going to recommend Polo Pass Radio Show, where you can talk all things geeky and nerdy, be it from DC to Marvel, hosted by none other than Magic Mark Adams. Absolute all-round amazing guy. I, of course, recommend you check out We the Independent, especially the podcast, because they have some amazing interviews, with Davey Starr. Do I need? I could keep stating names. Davey Starr is running it. Especially with, also Sugar Dunkerton, where there's an Indie Internal Affinity. They have massive, absolute, amazing interviews on there. I highly recommend it. I also recommend you check out Train Pop Culture, of course, where they talk all things. Well, they talk anything really. They talk about travel, talk about wrestling, talk about bottles, talk about Marvel, DC films, everything in general. Absolutely entertaining. Of course, I also recommend you check out Think Wrestling, which has Tom Baker. Does absolutely interesting interviews on there, of course. And I also recommend you check out Fabaloony, where it's party time all the time. Highly recommend them. Fabaloony.co.uk. I also recommend you check out Kayfabe Music UK. And I can state this all day. I know how good they are. They're absolutely amazing. I've got custom made entrance music and the actual intro and the music for The Burning Truth. We have official music, for The Burning Truth done by these guys. They're absolutely amazing. Check them out. Of course, check out Turnbuckle TV, which is, easy. If you are a wrestling fan, check these guys out. They're absolutely amazing. For just $3.99, you are getting 30 plus companies. UKWA included as well. $3.99. Now you're thinking $3.99 a month. That sounds like a lot. No, it's not. It's £1 a week. Now a lot of people saying, but then it's £1 a week. That's about It's not a lot. It's really not. The fact is, you're paying for it's about £4 a month. £4 a month. So essentially, you're almost paying £48 for an entire year for 30 plus wrestling companies. Need to say more. But at the same time, any time when you do check out, they also do actually have a free week available on there. So if you want to check out any interesting shows and matchups or anything, do jump onto it and check it out. We highly recommend it. They also have one company on there which is not linked in, which I believe you have to pay an additional £4, which is for the TNT on demand. But they actually have exclusive deals on there. But I absolutely recommend checking out Turnbuckle TV, and any money that you do actually put in does actually help out any wrestling companies that if you are signing up through UKWA, which is, the link would be www.turnbuckletv.com/UKWA, and you signed up, big chunk, some of that fee actually goes towards helping improving the company that you are actually you are actually wanting to watch. You are actually helping that company out in a big, big way. Be it either myself, United Wrestling, any of the others that are on there. It's absolutely amazing. We, of course, also recommend you check out any local wrestling shows, which I'll just state right now. United Wrestling has a show next week, which I will be attending. Of course, Pro Wrestling For You has a show next weekend, which I will be stating I will be most likely doing that episode very heavily bruised. Damn it. And of course, Academy Pro Wrestling has a show next Saturday. I got a weekend of wrestling. Good Lord, how am I going to fit all that in? And yes, you may have noticed that I did state I am wrestling next week, but don't worry, we will be on the air after the show. It is an earlier show from the last time I checked. If it isn't, I do apologise, and we will hopefully get some content out for you for that week. But I will just state to you, if it isn't that we aren't going live, we will put a post out stating it won't be live. And most likely a pre-recorded episode, potentially. Or one of the specials that we may have secretly recorded. But anyway, point being is, there's plenty of wrestling to check out. Local wrestling, United Wrestling, Pro Wrestling for You, Slam Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Future Championship Wrestling, Fusion Pro Wrestling, The Barracks, Falling Star, PCW, I believe Future Shock Wrestling. There's so many different wrestling companies to check out. But if you wanted to know what your local wrestling shows would be, how about you check out a app called Babyface Wrestling App, where you can actually jump onto it, find out all your local promotions, and follow them, and basically get the most up-to-date list of when their shows are coming up and how close they are. If necessary, if you don't know any wrestling company, go onto that app. Literally go onto it. You can actually find your shows from distance, from how far you can travel, and it'll tell you how straight away from there how far you got to travel and what shows are on with dates as such. And in some cases, they even have the matchups, so you can actually see what matches are on. Highly recommend you check that out. Please do. It's absolutely the best thing about it is for that Babyface Wrestling UK the Babyface Wrestling UK app is free on all your mobile devices, up-to-date mobile devices. Just to confirm. But anyway, I of course also recommend you check out the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.co.uk. No, not .co.uk. My apologies. It's actually www.theburningtruthuk.com. I've been doing this for so many. That's the first time I've actually got that almost potentially wrong. I'll state it once more, so I've got it 100% correct. That is www.theburningtruthuk.com, where you can listen to us live, past broadcasts, past interviews, show reviews, merchandise, blogs, contacts, links, and social media. We're on there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and so much more. We've also got past episodes on Spotify. And that is a wrap up for this week. So I will just state thank you very much for listening to me on this episode. I know it's gone on longer than, I'll be honest with you, it's gone on longer than what I expected, but I feel as though it still felt rushed, and I've had to push out a lot of content, quite a lot out straight away. But I hopefully will see you, hopefully you'll hear from us next week, which you most likely will do. And I hope you all stay well and stay safe. And when I say that, I don't just mean physically, I also mean mentally as well. So, all I will just state is, if you are not okay, don't fret. It is okay to be not okay. And also, it's not a weakness to ask for help. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. Because you may actually find out you are actually more liked, more loved than you could ever know. Because there could be people who care for you, who know that you're struggling, but can't exactly state to you, just in case. They're wanting you to tell them when you're ready for their help. But you could end up finding out you are more loved than you could actually ever know. All I will state is, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I will hopefully catch you all next week, so stay well, stay safe, and of course, as always, please check out your local wrestling, and until then, I'll catch you next week. Catch you laters.